Yes, welcome back to the channel. It's another episode of 10 in 10. This time we've managed to get somebody from behind enemy lines. Turkish from the Big Six, AFTV. How are you, my man? You well?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. How about you?
Yeah, good. Just politely reminding you that you did say you beat Spurs 5-1, so I'm not going to let you forget that one, man. I'm not letting you.
Yeah, I know. And in the end, Chelsea nearly did it. So
Is that what you're taking comfort in? Listen, for anyone that's not seen this before, this is 10 in 10. We find football content creators, ex-players, pundits. We give them 10 minutes. They get 1 minute per question to answer. Whatever they want to answer, they can. It's up to them, their opinions. And let's get going. So, Turkish, you ready for this?
Let's go.
Okay, first question. Nice and simple. The best North London derby you have seen and why?
It has to be when we won the league. We won the league at White Hart Lane. It has to be. I know we didn't win the game, but we won the league. Come on, it goes without saying that day is special. That day. I know we won it at Old Trafford, but White Hart Lane's a bit different. White Hart Lane's a bit different. I know United was the rivalry, but Tottenham's that local club, and we can always use this even, for the rest of the time. But it's such a rarity in football to be able to win a league title at your opposition's home ground, and we've done it a few times. Anfield '89 too.
I love that. Just the first answer. Let's have a massive dig at Spurs. Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, this one, you're going to have to say something nice about Spurs. The best Spurs player in the Premier League era. So somebody that you would have said, yeah, I definitely want them at Arsenal. And it can't be Sol Campbell.
Yeah, it's true. That would have been one. Modric for me. Look what he's gone on to achieve in his career. Look what he's gone on to achieve. Unfortunately, obviously, he was in the Messi and Ronaldo era. If he wasn't, he probably would have won another Ballon d'Or, probably. But he did get one under his belt. So Modric is that one. I look at Tottenham and I think he was so cultured. At Arsenal under Wenger, he would have been such a big player for us. But we wasn't that club at the time, so there was no chance of us getting it. Shout out to Bale and David Ginola, though. I think those two deserve a special mention.
Oh, my man, David. Would you have Modric at his age now above Havertz, just quickly?
Oh, mate, listen, I'd have a lot of people about never mind a professional footballer. I might take you, Savva, if I'm honest.
Listen, I reckon I'd do a job. Thank you. The next one is nice and simple. Yes or no, and why? Will Arsenal win the title this season? You're only 1 point off the top, 12 games gone. Are you winning it?
No, because the Havertz signing was such a big miss, in my opinion. And by miss, I mean, completely off the mark. That I think that will cost us in the end. There's a lot of rumors circulating now that we're sodding off a striker in January and going for another midfielder. I think that kind of indicates to me that not only Havertz hasn't worked out, but probably Fabio Vieira too. Because we've got options there, but we've just failed to really build on what Xhaka gave for us last season, if I'm honest with you. And I was a massive critic of Xhaka prior to last season, but last season he played a big part in what was nearly a special season. So I'm going to say no because of that lack of depth in midfield. But yeah, fingers crossed I'm wrong.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? It's funny how Xhaka went from being this sort of pantomime villain to, oh my God, he's gone and you haven't replaced him. Next one, the age-old debate. Everyone talks about this forever and forever. Who was better, Lionel Messi or Ronaldo, and why?
Lionel Messi. This isn't a debate for me. I know a lot of people debate it, but the difference for me is that who's better to watch, because their numbers just, you can compare their numbers all day. And they're very similar. Obviously, with assists, Messi kind of, does blow Ronaldo out the water there. And that shows he's a more all-round player, in my opinion. But I think when you're watching them, when people tell me they prefer watching Ronaldo, I just don't believe it, because Messi's magic. Messi's on Twitter the other day, I called Messi an alien. I said, people can look up to Ronaldo because his work ethic, his determination, his ambition got him to where he was. And that's no slight on him. I'm saying people can look up to that, but not many, if any, will ever achieve that. But with Messi, how do you look up to Messi? What is looking up to Messi? He's just different.
Yeah.
I call him an alien, and that's the only way to really describe him. I think there's icons, and then there's Lionel Messi.
Yeah, listen, I completely agree with you. It's just so strange, isn't it? How both sides of that argument normally they can't say one thing nice about the other without absolutely burying the other one. But
Yeah,
two top players, which I don't think we're ever going to see again. Next question: if you could get rid of one thing from football, what would it be? And I'm sure in this day and age, there's a million things we could choose. But what's the biggest thing that you would love to get rid of?
well, I'm gonna need a few of these seconds to think. The one thing I could get rid of, I'm trying to put my finger on what it is, what the one thing is, because I know what it is, but I don't know how to define it by a word. I'm gonna say get Generation Z out of football, and I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. Because
Okay, like
I
it.
feel like football's gone so soft in the last 15 years, 20
Mhm.
years. Everything's about protecting, players are more, liked than clubs at times, and there
Yeah.
just seems to be, there's no more fight in football. Everyone's friends. You could be a player for Arsenal, a player
Yeah.
for Burnley, and a player for Sheffield United, and your friends, and Man United and Liverpool, friends, and it's just this is not what I grew up on. And like they're not friends. They didn't grow up together. They're all footballers, but everything's about being friends now and being nice, and all this. And as much as listen, I'm not advocating violence and all of this shit. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah, I hear you.
saying of fight a bit
So
of
we're going to the Vieira Keane type rivalry where there was respect, but they couldn't stand each other because of what they were fighting
100%.
for and against. And
100%,
yeah.
100%. Not only Keane Vieira, even like a Gattuso would struggle
Mm, mm,
in this day and age because everyone will be onto him for a bad tackle or two. But back then, and it feels like there's more injuries now than there was then, and I mean little and big injuries with the amount of ACLs going on. So what's happened if that fight and that oomph in football has been taken out of it? How is
yeah.
there still injuries lingering more so than ever?
Yeah, I agree. I almost feel just to add a little bit here. I always feel like that's crept into fans as well. Like we've become so soft that if you criticize or dare say anything about a player for your own club, they're so protected. No matter how bad they are, how bad their performance was, everyone's just, oh my god, they're brilliant. I love them. They're amazing. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You can't criticize. Can't criticize. The worst Arsenal signing in the Premier League era. I'll leave you to break that down, whether it's for value of money, whether it's just how bad they were as a player, but the worst Arsenal signing.
This is such a difficult one, man, because we've had a few bad ones.
Mm,
I know Pepe might come to people's minds a lot because of the fee, but I don't think Pepe was a terrible player. I just think,
mhm,
it was unfortunate circumstances. He wasn't a 72 million player, that's for sure, but
sure.
he wasn't shit. I mean, Havertz, I think, will have a say. I think it's very early for me to put his name in there, but I'm pretty sure 3 years from now,
I was waiting for that.
he will be he will be the one because it was
Yeah,
such a big one from Xhaka to Havertz when we all wanted an upgrade on Xhaka, and in the end we got a downgrade, and that's just crazy to me. Um, we've had a few though, because Shamak, terrible signing. I mean, we signed Javinho when it should have been Hazard. That was just like what are you doing? Even though Javinho wasn't shit, I mean,
mm,
he's still done bits and bobs, but I can't see past Havertz. I think it's recency bias more than anything. But
yeah,
I really think that transfer was a big, big miss.
yeah. No, completely. Yeah, I hear. I hear. You've had some
Willian,
bad ones, but
Willian is in there. Oh my God, Willian is in
okay.
there. Willian is in there.
He's doing all right for Fulham, but okay.
Yeah,
Next question. In their prime, who are you taking? Are you taking beloved Arsenal legend Arsene Wenger or Sir Alex Ferguson for all the Champions Leagues and the Fergie time and the multiple titles? Who are you picking in their prime?
I've got a minute for this. So in their prime, if we're talking about their prime,
Yeah.
because one of the primes was the greatest time, being an Arsenal supporter for me, I'm going to pick Arsene Wenger. And I know there's
Yep.
bias there because for me, Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time. For me, Pep Guardiola and Angelotti come, 2-3, let's say, but they can never touch what Ferguson's done. And the reality is Ferguson's prime brought Champions Leagues. Ferguson's prime stretched over 15 years, maybe even more than that. Multiple league titles, fought off multiple different challenges from Arsenal to from even earlier on, Newcastle's and Arsenal and Chelsea and Man City and so on. So Ferguson's the GOAT, and Ferguson's prime obviously is better than Wenger's prime, but Wenger's prime gave me the best moments. Like some of these shirts in the back, the Invincibles, I have to go for Arsene Wenger.
Okay. Arsene Wenger it is. All right. The most skillful player to have ever played football. Not necessarily the best player, but the most skillful. Who are you going for?
Ronaldinho, without a shadow of a doubt. Ronaldinho is what many describe as the streets GOAT, and I understand that. Ronaldinho in his prime was, you never seen nothing like it. Listen, Brazilians are known for their flair, and South Americans in general are known for their flair, but Ronaldinho just took it to a next level. I don't like that he won that Ballon d'Or over Henry one year, but that's nothing against him. I mean, on the football pitch during those 4-5 years, he was something else, and I understand why people rate him so highly. I rate him so highly. He is one of the best ever. He is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and he kind of retired at like 26, 27, having won everything, and just went and partied his life away. What a guy! The penultimate question is: what's the worst football opinion you've heard? What's the worst?
This one's recent as well. I can't lie, but it is the. To be honest with you, a special shout out to Tobes, who tweeted just a few days ago,
right.
James Maddison's a footballing genius. That is close to one of the worst opinions I've heard. I like James Maddison, but footballing genius, that is crazy. That should be applied to Messi.
So he just gets a special mention, does Tapping Tobes, right?
That's a special mention because this one is the worst. When we was linked to Havertz, when we was pretty much getting the signing done, someone on Twitter tweeted that we're signing Havertz because of his body, it's similar to Van Persie's, and the guy kind of tweeted, think box dominator, think tight spaces, think shots from impossible angles. I was like, what is going on in this tweet? I've never seen nothing. He compared Havertz to Van Persie because of their body, and then went in on everything Van Persie was great at and everything that Havertz hasn't shown one iota of.
Man, that is bad. Listen, I know you didn't ask, but if it was me, my answer would be any Rory Jennings opinion, and especially he knows what he's doing, especially his Erling Haaland opinion.
I knew that was
even when he's wrong, the moment Haaland doesn't score for a game, he doubles down on the opinion. You've got to love that guy, man. He is funny. He is funny to watch.
I video with him recently, and he basically not said the same thing about Haaland, but he said, you think he's going to have a great season again? I said, yeah, another 30-goal season's coming in the bag for sure. And he questioned that. Sorry, I've had to get the tweet word for word.
Yeah, go for it.
Over a minute, but just so
go for it, man. Go for it.
The key attraction with Havertz is his body. His frame is reminiscent of some of the greats of the game, and so there is a hope for the abilities it gave them. Think of Robin Van Persie. Box dominator, build-up dominator, shots from impossible angles, those sorts of traits. I'm sorry.
Wow. I'd love to know who that was. Don't tell us, but I'd love to know, because those sort of opinions are breathtaking. Somebody yesterday, I know this has gone over a minute for this question. Somebody yesterday, I saw somebody on Twitter put, the problem with David Ginola was that he was brilliant to watch going forward, but he was about as useful as a chocolate teapot defending. And when you're thinking, oh, wow, that's what you think of when you think of David Ginola. Oh, just get out. Get out of here.
Listen, I've seen people disrespect Zidane, let alone
it's mad.
Some Bergkamp and shit. People, so it's like, the kids.
It's mad.
Let's leave them to it, man.
It's mad. It's madness. And the last question of the day, what is your most controversial Arsenal opinion? So something that deep down you think is true, you believe in it, but other people just can't quite get on board with you about it. So, for example, I'll give you mine with Spurs is that I think Romero's a good defender, but nowhere near the levels that our fan base talk about him as though he's Bobby Moore or Maldini. Like, so something like that.
I'd say probably it's a tough one because none of the play. In general, the fans do overrate a lot of our players, but I do like a lot of our players. I'm just trying to think what the biggest gripe is with other Arsenal fans and their opinions in general. You know what? It's probably left field, but it's probably the Kroenke thing still, because I still say that I still say it's Kroenke watch. I still say they're under the radar, and people tell me that they've done what they've done in the last 3 years, and they've improved, and really and truly I should turn around my opinion on them. But I feel like until we really start competing on a regular basis and winning majors, then they've got a lot of making up to do for the 15 years before that. But it's probably that for me.
Yeah, fair
Probably
enough. Listen, I get it. I get it.
Saka world class is another one. I mean, I think he still needs a lot of work to get to world class level. I see a lot of fans saying that. I think Arsenal's Saliba and Rice are probably. I think Saliba is world class, and I think Rice, for what he does, and there's not many better in his position in world football. But I also think the world class title has diminished a lot over the last 15 years. So if I go by today's standards, I'd say Rice is world class. But if I go by the standards I grew up on, then he's got a lot of work to do as well.
Yeah, completely hear you. And listen, one last thing, just give me in just 10 seconds. Arsenal away this weekend at Brentford. Could be a chance if Man City and Liverpool draw, or if Liverpool beat Man City. What are you saying? What's the score going to be at Brentford?
I've been thinking 3-1 all week, then I brought it down to 2-1. So I'm going for an Arsenal win, but I know it's going to be a tough game. Listen, not just Arsenal this weekend. Every big six side has a tough game this weekend, so there could be slip-ups all over the gaff. But like you said, City, Liverpool, they play each other twice. We're meant to be in that pack now for the title, so we need to take advantage. They've got a midday kickoff. We're at 5:30, so we'll know exactly what happens if we win the game. Not that it means much game week 13, but there's still like a mental battle early on with, at the top of the table to see who's going to be there or thereabouts come January. So I think if we win the game and capitalize on one of them, if not both of them dropping points, then it puts us in a great position, 2-1.
I've gone 2-1 Brentford, and I'm going to end the show on that. More through hope than expectation, if I'm brutally honest. Listen, Turkish, thank you so much for giving me 15 minutes of your time. I really do appreciate that, my man. Listen, you all know where to find Turkish, Big Six, AFTV. Go and subscribe to all these channels. Listen, I would say best of luck for the rest of the season, but obviously I don't want that to happen. Thank you very much for your time. And as always, everybody, we'll be back with another 10 in 10 tomorrow. Enjoy this one. Please like, please subscribe. And as always, come on, you Spurs.